Hey, it's Sujata Day, everybody.
Oh my gosh!
How
I
are
was
you?
like, is there gonna be stairs? Did you see me like take that huge step in?
Yeah, you're prepared. It's good. Yeah, you look, what were the Velociraptors? Is that how they walked? I'm trying to think, how they walked in
Oh my
Jurassic
god,
Park.
this is so dope!
Thank you.
Oh my god.
It's kind of a shrine of myself.
This feels like an Italian restaurant. Like
Oh,
I'm in an
I'll
Italian-
take it. Seen
Yeah,
from an
yeah,
Italian
yeah.
restaurant. I'll take it.
This is great.
Sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Look at all those Bollywood stars.
I
here
tell
you've
you,
got
man, I
pictures with.
lean into the Bollywood. For someone who doesn't know a ton about Bollywood, I'm kind of opposed.
I think you need to Photoshop yourself into this picture.
You know that is actually me.
Wait, what?
Yeah. That's actually me.
And at Accenture, I was going to do less engineering type stuff. Obviously, it's consulting,
Right.
but was making way more money there.
Right.
So I said, I got the job offer the summer before my senior year of college.
That's the best.
So I went into college
With a job.
with a job.
It's the greatest thing. We were talking a little bit about taking a job, whether it's studio or indie, whatever, but that's kind of how Awkward Black Girl came about for you, is it was just another job. I read some of your interviews, and then it became this thing.
It was a job where I wasn't getting paid.
This is not even a job. That's not a job if you're not getting paid.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
PAs will tell you that. They're getting paid a little bit, but not much, not much, I tell you. It's pretty little.
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid for this, so, there's
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's coming along, and how did it come about? It was, you knew Issa Rae?
No. So what happened was I had left Facebook. I deleted my Facebook because there was like friend drama, family drama, and I was like, I can't do this. This was a little over 10 years ago.
Okay.
And so I left Facebook before it was cool to leave Facebook.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my wife did, but she's a little past the trend.
Yeah. So then I was like, I need a social media.
Right.
So I was like, okay, what's this Twitter thing? Nobody was on Twitter at the time.
Okay.
So I signed up for a Twitter, and then I followed this person, Joshua, who was at Film TV Diversity, and he would tweet out people to follow. So here's 5 directors to follow. Here's 5 writers to follow. Here's 5 producers. And one of the 5 was Issa one day. And it was like web series creator. And I was like, I was following everybody that he was telling me to follow.
Okay.
And then
And you actually did that, because sometimes people are like, yeah, but you really actually followed up.
I mean, this was when
But it was nothing.
it was
Wild
nothing.
Wild West.
Yeah. So then I followed everybody, and then a couple of days later, and then she followed me back. We both had like 5 followers at the time.
Okay.
And then a couple days later, she tweeted out, "I'm looking for a mixed-looking girl to play my best friend on a web series."
Damn.
So then I DM'd her, and I was like, "Hey, I'm not mixed, but this is what I look like."
Sure.
And then she's like, "Oh, come in for the audition." So then I pull up to the audition location. It's in a nice neighborhood, but it's a house.
Right, okay.
And you don't want to go to an audition at a house.
Yeah.
Like any new actors out there, don't go to a house
That's
audition.
a no-no. When I hired my first assistant, I met her at Starbucks, and she was a pretty attractive young woman. But I had to tell her that, I just want you to know, we're working out of my apartment. Is that okay? But this new generation, like, yeah, it's fine. But older folks, you're not nearly as old as I am, but it's like a big red flag. Like, oh, what is this? What is this operation? You're just gonna have me come over to your house? That's a weird thing.
It's
for
weird.
people.
So then I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, should I leave? Mm-hmm. You know, am I going to get Weinsteined here?
Right.
I mean, we
And at
don't-
least get a job out of it, though.
That's true. I would have been the star of a Miramax film. So then she came out of her house.
Issa did.
Yes,
Okay.
on her phone, and I was like, oh, it's a woman, it's all good, which is still not the right tact.
Sure, but it's a little more acceptable.
Yeah,
It's
so-
a lot more acceptable.
So then I got out of the car,
Yeah.
and I was like, hi, go in. Obviously, everything was fine. The audition itself took 5 minutes, and then I left, and then a couple hours later, she's like, "You got the job."
Dude.
And a job that pays no money.
Right, but still.
And I was like, this is okay.
Okay.
Great. So
Whatever,
then
yeah.
a couple weeks later, I went to her dad's doctor's office in Inglewood
Okay.
to shoot a scene, and it was me, Issa, and her brother on the camera with like a microphone on the camera.
I mean, that's what the early episodes look like. It's very, go camera.
Exactly.
Or
So
GoPro,
then
whatever, the GoPro.
shot the scene, took 20 minutes, and she was like, okay. I was like, okay.
All right then. Sure.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And that was
the first.
That was the
foray
beginning.
into it.
That was the beginning.
And then you were best friend, you were on it a lot, and then that transitioned into Insecure.
Transition and Insecure.
And now you're on
there's a
HBO.
lot of stuff that happened in between.
You could expand if you want, but I know you've told this story a little bit, but I didn't know that initial part of it. So
Yeah. So then, it took a long time.
Sure.
What I like to tell people is that Awkward Black Girl was Issa's third web series.
Okay, that is helpful to know.
So I feel like, a lot of people go out there and they make their first web series and
it didn't work, and
it
so
did-
I'm not
no
gonna
one's
do it.
watching it,
I'm
didn't go
out.
viral, and then I'm gonna quit. That's
Right.
it. But it's like, no, you just have to make your second one and your third one.
I read something about trying whatever it was to paint or draw, and somebody saying, "Well, I can't do it." Well, would you try once for half an hour and then you just give up? Which is what most people do. Go, well, I can't, and then.
So I definitely feel like it's about persistence, who stays in it for the longest, who keeps creating stuff even if it is not hitting or going viral. Like it's I've created stuff that has not, that not a lot of people have seen, but something has happened out of it. Like I got a manager out of that, or
Sure.
they figured out that I could write because it was like I was writing and starring in the web series or whatever.
And what was the mechanism there? So did you send it to people, or people sort of found it? Like a manager, for example.
So I did a web series called Larry and Lucy that nobody has ever seen.
I have not seen that. Well, you set me up to say I haven't seen it. So
And
I
it was
haven't.
me and Andrew Allen James, who is also from Awkward Black Girl.
Okay.
And I just had this idea, like, what if Mark and Mindy were, people of color? So that was kind of the basic premise of it. And so I was the normal person from Earth, and then he was the alien.
Okay.
And he's a black guy. And so he came in, and then we would do these dances together.
Oh, interesting.
It just didn't make any sense.
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever.
You've got a dancing background.
Yeah. So it was just really fun to kind of. He's a dancer, so he would choreograph our
Well, he's black.
dances. Yeah.
Can you say that? Can you say that? I don't think you can say that. We might not.
No, he's actually a really good dancer. He danced in college and all that good stuff. So it was really, really fun. We shot 3 episodes.
Okay. And you put them out.
And they're out. They're up on YouTube.
They're on YouTube.
You can watch them.
And how many views do they have?
Probably I don't know, 600 at this point.
Okay, so not many.
Not many.
Okay.
Yeah, so then.
But you wrote it and you started it.
Yeah.
And you had fun doing it. Sounds like that
Had
was
so much
that seems like
fun.
that's probably what translated.
It was on my reel for a while, so I was proud of the work.
Sure.
And then, and it looked great, looked good. You had a good crew behind the scenes. And then I was looking for a manager at the time, and I was like, here's something that I wrote and starred in.
And so you sent it out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To people, to managers that you had some connection. Was this on Twitter? Was this through friends?
It was cold emails
Literally, here's
to the
something.
top 10 managers in Hollywood.
Look at you. So you just found this list and just emailed them.
Yeah, and I got 7 meetings.
Out of 10? Mm-hmm. To what do you attribute that? That's a huge hit rate.
I knew that there was an audience for Awkward Black Girl. So this was after the second season. This was after Pharrell had funded the second season.
Sure.
And Shonda had reached out to Issa, and we were getting a lot of press. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna reach out to these managers, and I will say that I reached out, mostly I would make sure, do they rep people of color clients?
Right.
And
Right.
then IMDb Pro, you get anyone's email, and I was like, on the subject line, I was like, actress on Awkward Black Girl.
Okay, that had to help. Yeah, that had to help.
And then I just had like a little paragraph, like, here's what I'm doing. I'm also writing, creating my own stuff. And that's how I got, I think, those 7 meetings, and I got like 5 offers, and then I went with who I thought at the time was the best. I have a show at a studio that we're about to go pitch, and
Sure.
And then I'm also pitching 2 other shows, and I'm also pitching my next 2 movies
This is all happening right now.
right now.
Okay. So your own show that you wrote,
Yes.
2 other shows that are under your production company, or
Yes, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
and then 2 films.
2 films.
Features, shorts.
Features.
Some shorts at this point.
After I did, so Cowboy and Indian, I'm not sure if you know about Cowboy.
I know that it's a short film that you
Yeah.
wrote, and
I wrote, directed,
and
starred, produced.
that's like you're a quadruple threat. I think that's what Azim said, our PA said you're a quadruple threat.
A
so-
fun fact
we
about
go.
how I funded Cowboy and Indian, it was Accenture stock.
Oh.
That I cashed out.
And you cashed it out. That's pretty cool.
It's cool, it's cool. It was actually money I did not know I had. Every
That's
year
nice.
doing taxes, I like wasn't aware of it. And then one year I was like, what is this extra money?
Right.
And then I called the number, and they were like, oh, you were gifted Accenture stock when you left, or when I was laid off. And then I was like, how much? And,
Right.
and they were like, $5,500. I was like, send me the check.
Oh, wow.
Send me the
That
check
is-
for $5,500. And they were like, we don't recommend you cashing. And I was like, send me the check.
Send me the check.
And with Cowboy and Indian, I was very much like, okay, since it's my money that I, number one, didn't know I had.
Right.
I'm gonna allow myself to fail.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it all, see if I can do it, and if it's like a shitty product at the end, so be it.
First of all, it's a great attitude. Second of all, though, how would you have known which piece of it failed? The production, the writing,
Anything.
the directing,
Like it could
the
have been,
starring?
oh my gosh, the sound wasn't coming in,
Right.
or it didn't get the shots that I wanted. Or
What did work and what didn't work?
It all worked.
You felt like this is my vision come to life.
I was like, this is it. This is amazing.
That's hard to do, isn't it? Isn't it hard to do all 4 of those things?
I don't know, because I think when you're directing, your vision has to change. It has to be adaptive, right? So, depending on your budget, like your movie right now, like I always knew that Definition Please wasn't gonna look like Mission Impossible.
It wasn't going to be Tenet. right. It wasn't going to be Mission Impossible. That's a better way to
and
think
there's
it, yes.
gonna be flaws, and there's gonna be things that you wish you could have taken back.
Okay.
But I allow myself to be adaptive, and I'm like, okay, if this is the best we
Sure.
can do, you know what? I like it.
It's HGTV.
Yeah.
It's like we'd love to do this, but our budget allows for
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So that's how I felt about Cowboy and Indian. I think I was going in with such low expectations for myself. I was
Sure.
like, fantastic. And then it started getting into something that happened was that I didn't get into any of the big prestige festivals.
You submitted?
Yes.
Okay.
Did not get into Sundance, didn't get into Tribeca, didn't get into South by, didn't get into TIFF. But Cowboy and Indian got into every single Asian American film
So
festival.
South and East Asian.
More Asian American.
Like
as
East
opposed
Asian,
to-
yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a very East Asian vibe to you. Do you get that?
I get that a lot. Some
What's up
people
with
think
that?
I'm like Filipino.
Oh, just looks wise, maybe. I just feel like your affect in general. I hadn't even thought about the look itself.
Oh.
Yeah, you just seem Asian.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah, I don't know, but you do.
Great.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I
neither
guess
here nor
I love
there.
Hello Kitty. That's part of it.
Yeah, there you go. If you, then you're honorary Asian already.
Yeah.
Were you happy with how Definition Please turned out?
I am incredibly happy with it. Yeah.
It's also a who's who of South Asian actors, I
I
feel
know.
like. You had a
It's all
lot
my
of great talent.
friends.
Yeah, you had a lot of great talent in there.
Yeah.
Parv and Sunkrish and all the usual suspects.
I love that. Sunkrish was our dead dad. There's a lot of that's like a thing now, like the Indian American dead
Yeah,
dad.
like Never Have I Ever.
Never have I ever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Why is that? Because they really don't do much anyway?
is it? I mean,
You know, if we killed the mom, we're not gonna have a household. We're not gonna have chai. If dad's gone, it's just quieter.
I don't know.
There's less complaining. I don't
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
else there could be. I always wanted to be the angry dad yelling at the TV about politics, and that's what I am now.
Great.
It was just, I aspired to just yell at a nicer TV.
Yeah.
That was it. I was like, as long as I achieve that in life, I'm happy. That's the way to go about it.
My favorite part about making it was shooting in my parents' house, my childhood home, which they still live in.
Outside of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm from Greensburg, which is about an hour and 15 minutes east of Pittsburgh.
Population 14,000.
Is that true?
I do some research before the guest arrives. Yeah.
Yes.
About that. Because your school, your graduating class was like 100?
No. My graduating class was 2,000.
Oh, wait, your class was 2,000?
Yeah, my class was 2,000.
There was something of which you were part where I was going, whoa, that was really small. You won a contest or you were in something and there were only a couple other people.
So I did go to Catholic school until 6th grade.
Okay. Oh, until 6th grade.
And that was like teeny tiny classes.
Okay.
So that was like, I won my 4th grade spelling bee and
That's what it was a spelling bee.
and there were only 8 people in my class.
That's what it was.
So that's why I say like it wasn't really a big deal
Yeah,
about
that's what it
me
was.
winning. Because then I went to regionals and I lost.
You spelled radish right or something.
Wrong.
You spelled radish wrong.
I spelled radish wrong.
Okay,
I
two
spelled
Ds?
2 Ds. And I know what I was not trained to be in the spelling bee, so I didn't know that to think you want to ask all the questions. You want to say definition, please. Language of origin. Can you please say that word again? You know, I was like,
Radish, got it.
yeah, I was like, R-A-D-D-I-S-H. And then they're like, ding!
These days you'd been like, I have a stutter, and this is not a very inclusive place, because that was 1D, everybody.
Yeah. And then I like got off stage and Mrs. Lewis was there and she put her arm around me and I was like, well, I really sucked.
I lost.
I lost.
I lost the spelling bee in my high school to an Indian girl. And I never made the connection until much later that, 2 Indians were at the very top of the food chain, because I didn't know spelling was an Indian thing at the time.
I also was not aware of that.
Yeah, it's an insanely weird. But then somebody did a joke about how, well, of course, South Indians are great at it because look how many letters their last names have.
Right.
So they have to know they're intricately aware of all of the letters.
Yeah, like they have to learn how to spell their last name by preschool.
Yes. And then Sheila Mira moved to DC, and when she left, I was like, I'm now the best speller in our grade. Because she left. So
Did you tell everybody?
Oh yeah, I told everybody. I go, just in case anyone's keeping track,
Yeah.
which no one was. I'm just letting you know now.
Do you know the word that got you out?
I lost. I know that she spelled a word that I knew how to spell, but I forget what I missed spelling. And then the word for her was tsetse. And we had just learned about tsetse flies in science class. I'm like, this chick's totally getting this. And I forget what I misspelled.
Wow.
I misspelled pachyderm,
Pachyderm.
which is not that hard of a word.
Pachyderm.
You're close. It's a Y.
Oh!
And I spelled it with an I-O, like Improv Olympic. It was crazy. I'm like, why did I spell it with an I-O? And being Hindu, the elephant being so important, I'll never live that down.
Oh.
I misspelled pachyderm. And then it goes over to Sheila, and they give her tsetse, and I'm like, take a seat. Rajiv. You are out.
Take a seat, loser.
Loser. You were totally going down on this one.
Yeah.
I was so pissed. Do you feel like there's a lot of support amongst South Asians for South Asians in entertainment?
Now.
Okay, so when did that start to change?
I don't know, 3 years ago?
Okay, that's pretty recent.
Yeah. I feel like we've finally, you know what I like to say is that when I was coming up doing Awkward Black Girl, this was when, so Issa was coming up and so was Justin Simien doing Dear White People, like the web series.
Oh, yeah, that's
with
right.
with Lena Waithe doing another
Right.
web series.
Right.
Ava DuVernay, who was doing like indie films and short films, with Barry Jenkins, who was doing, you know, kind of indie films. And they all started to like coalesce, right? And I watched it happen before my very eyes.
You had a front row seat.
Yeah, I had a front row seat. And so I think that's what's starting to happen now. And it's really exciting to watch because we need that support
Cohesion.
amongst each other. Like just, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, a couple of South Asian producers hit me up and was like, oh, do you like your first AD that you worked with on Definition, Please? And I was like, yes, he's amazing. Here's his info. Like we need to do that. We need to, you know, become cohesive. And something else that I love to do is that I call it binders full of brown women.
Binders of women.
And I have their writing samples and I have their bios and I get calls from showrunners pretty frequently.
Who are not even South Asian
Who
necessarily.
are not South Asian.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, we're looking for just women of color. Do you have them? And I can confidently send 10 to 12 brown girls.
And they know you have these binders.
Yeah.
How do they know that? It's just word
Because
travel?
I'll reach out and I'll be like, hey, do you have a sample for me? Say you're right on Twitter. You know, I did a couple years ago, I started just following like brown girl writers on Twitter that were funny or that seemed really cool in New York or LA, and then we would DM, and because I'm in my head, I'm filling my writer's room.
Right.
So I search. I look at these Twitter bios.
Right. And it works out.
And it works out.
That is a really granular way of putting it. That's super helpful because it gives you the mechanism of how this actually works. It's not just like, hey, we're supporting each other. It's
No.
No, there's these are physical things that exist and
Yeah.
you can forward and
Something
people
else
get
that I
jobs.
do, you know, I'm getting meetings to pitch on different movies as a writer, as a director, different things. And if
Right.
it's something that's not necessarily for me, I know another female brown director that it would be great for.
Sure.
And I give them that name.
Wow.
I know other writers. I give them the names of the writers. I just feel like the more of us out there, the more opportunities we're gonna make.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, so I'm a huge believer in that.
Do you believe that other people are like that, or have you seen that come back to you?
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Okay.
So if they're not like that, that's fine. That's their thing. But I'm gonna be like that, and the people that I choose to create things with are gonna be like that. So I try not to focus on the negative of things, and I think if people, you know, I watched it happen with Issa, and so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow in those footsteps and do it for myself, and you know, if these writers get the jobs or whatever, hopefully they will do it for the next.
Pay it forward.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What's the South Asian project you feel that hasn't happened that should happen?
There's so many.
What's the first that comes to mind?
I just want to say, so I'm friends with Andrew On, who's a great director, who his film Spa Night, I believe, premiered at Sundance 2016. And there's just an announcement about his Searchlight film, and it's two comedians, Bo and Yang is starring in it. It's like a Gaysian Fire Island comedy. And I was like,
I've been to Fire Island.
that sounds amazing. I want more projects like that. Like just fun comedies. What about, you know what I'd love to do? A South Asian girls trip.
Oh, right.
That's
Right.
like, yeah, that would be my jam.
Yeah.
Let's do that. What about, I don't know, just anything kind of dealing with comedy that doesn't lean on tropes.
Tropes.
Tropes
Stereotropes.
Stereotropes.
Yeah, that's
New word.
You should create that word.
New word.
That's a good word.
So-
Definition, please.
Language of origin, please.
It is a Sujata Dayan word.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how that came about.
So yeah, any of those kind of fun comedies. Let's get those out there.
What do you feel like you've given up personally by pursuing this? So in other words, when I say that, even as a man, even though people don't think of it as through a male lens a lot of the time, I had to put off, getting married, having kids, the whole thing. Is that just sort of, you're like, yeah, that's what thing I have to do or whatever?
I haven't given up anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm living my life exactly the way I want to with zero regrets.
So had you stayed at Accenture, and like you said, you might have been able to buy a really expensive house or something, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You think your life would have turned out differently besides that?
I think I would have been extremely unhappy.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You could see that coming?
Yeah.
I could see that coming with myself, so I'm not skeptical.
Yeah. But my grand plan was always like work at Accenture, save up the money. As I'm working at Accenture, don't get put on a project and, never go to work and have all my calls go to my cell phone and go to auditions and get headshots and go to acting classes. And that was all part of the plan.
So you were able to do that?
I was a terrible Accenture employee.
Yeah, I was gonna say. That's pretty.
I worked there for a year, and I think I was on a project for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And at the project, because I was like, this is a 9-to-5 job, right?
Yeah.
I would start packing up my stuff at 5 p.m. while everybody is like sitting around.
Oh yeah, nobody leaves those jobs at 5 o'clock.
And I would pack, and I'd be like, all right, see y'all.
This
And they're
has
like,
been
where are you going? It's 5 p.m.
I'm out.
This is a 9-to-5.
Yeah, it wasn't like that at the Peach. It was 8:30 to 6:30. Take a little bit of work home. Maybe work a little bit on the weekends. And when I got out here to do Fiji Water, I was the brand manager of Fiji Water for 12 weeks, so you can relate to the short stint that might have been. And those were like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., come in on the weekends, and I had just gotten to LA. I'm like, F this. It is beautiful outside, it's 75 degrees. I've not ever spent time in LA. Peace. And I got out, and I just went out on my own after that. But I don't think I could do the half-ass move.
Oh, and I never got fired. I got laid off with like a bunch of other people.
Who probably felt wonderful leaving at the same time this chick who's leaving at 5 p.m. did.
But what I did was I made friends with the HR representative that everyone was scared of.
Oh.
Her name was Anne.
Okay.
She was lovely. I would go in, I met her for the first time. I saw that she kind of had family pictures on her desk, and I was like, oh my gosh, does your son play soccer? And I would be in her office for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then all my coworkers would be like, oh my God, did she yell at you? And I'd be like, no, she's cool.
Oh, I would have been like, yeah, she did, don't go in there.
Nobody bothered chatting with her and just making friends with her. And she would always be like, listen, that one project that we submitted you for, it didn't work out, but we'll find your best project.
And you're like, don't though.
And I'd be like, yeah.
I don't want to be staffed.
And she'd send me oh, this one. And I'd be like, oh, but I can't do Java. I'd have to train first. And she'd be like, we'll find you another one.
Oh, wow.
She loves me.
That is incredible. It's good to have a champion like that.
Yeah.
That's really, because it's not a meritocracy, it's an advocacy-based world.
And she definitely was sad when she had to lay me off.
I would imagine that is the case.
And I was like, I'm good. I'm gonna get unemployment and severance, and then I 8 months later I booked 3 national commercials.
We'll talk about that over ping pong. Want to play?
Okay, yeah, let's play.
What do you see as your role in the South Asian community?
My goal is to just support the people who are going to come after me. So, I'm excited for all the stories to come that aren't my stories, that aren't, my contemporary stories. And I think that's really exciting. I want to support all the storytellers who come after me.
Sure. Yeah.
This is fun. I haven't played in
It's so fun. I'm glad you're having a good time. Because people are like, you're gonna play ping pong over an interview? I'm like, trust. So what would it mean to pull a you? Someone's like, oh, she just pulled a Sujata.
would be wearing sweatpants to a fancy occasion.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is a very specific and cool thing. Are you just that confident in how you look? You're like, forget it, I don't care.
I
woke up
am
like this.
confident. Yeah, I've been confident. I mean, my parents, I can attribute that to my parents.
Okay, they're both confident?
No. They raised me
They
to
built
be
you up.
confident. They never cared about like what I looked like or what I wore.
Nice. What is a non-sexual thing that you're into that would surprise us?
That would surprise you.
Yeah.
Sleeping.
Oh, that sleeping with could be, but yes, I understand what you're saying. You love to sleep.
I love to sleep.
Okay. Yeah, that does surprise me because you seem like you've got a lot of energy and you're doing so many things. That's,
Like I will say, even on Definition Please, we had 12-hour days, and
Yeah.
you know, it was pretty intense shoot.
right.
But I would still get my 8 hours of sleep.
I think that is so clutch, and I never understand when people we're just gonna, now we don't even need the table. I've never understood when people say, I didn't eat anything all day. I go, what are you talking about? There's food every 3 feet. This is America.
Yeah.
You can't figure out some way to get food. I
I
always eat, I always sleep.
same. I love pizza.
Yes, that's my favorite food. I met someone the other day who said they didn't like pizza. I'm like, you're not a human being.
How could you not? It's
It's like if your favorite color isn't blue. Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you? What advice do you have for South Asians doing this? Not playing ping pong. For South Asians in entertainment.
South Asians doing entertainment, I would say, find your community.
Yeah.
Something that Esau always says is network horizontally.
Network.
Network horizontally. So network among
The peers.
the peers and build your group. Like build that clique that Judd Apatow built. Build
Right.
let's do that. Let's like keep using the same people in your movies.
Yes.
And just go up together. You said it. It's like all.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
I was gonna say all the boats come up to the sky.
That's more melodious, but I guess since P&G made Tide, maybe that's I'm sort of biased to using the word Tide, but I do like the way that sounds. Do you define yourself more as a woman or a person of color?
A person of color.
Oh, so you have more camaraderie with a person of color male than a white female?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
I think, especially in this industry, it does feel like people of color are all treated the same way.
Oh, interesting. You don't feel women are all treated the same way?
I mean, we're all kind of like trying to find our places for diversity and all that, but I do feel like I connect more with people of color, whether it's a man or a woman. If we're talking about like me meeting with executives,
Sure.
right?
Right. It's like in a professional or personal context, it's the same way.
Yeah. At Sujata Day on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then you can also follow the film Definition Please, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and we are doing the live in festival screenings right now, so hopefully it comes to your city and you can check it out.
Everybody, Sujata Day, killing it, not just on that table, but on this table as well, the epitome of what you bring to the table. Thank you for joining us on this episode of What Do You Bring to the Table? I've been your host, Rajiv, and I still am.